Yu-Gi-Oh! An incredibly complex card game with tens of thousands of cards. However, what if each set was separated from the rest of the massive card pool and your choices when building a deck were extremely limited? In this series, in order to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! From the ground up, I will be embarking on an adventure through the history of the card game with Jeex. In each episode, we will have access to all the cards in a select product, and using only the cards in that product, both of us will build a deck before playing a best of 3 match to determine the winner of the episode. We will move in a chronological order in the series, and with each new episode we will forget the cards of the past in order to experience something brand new. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through Yu-Gi-Oh! And its evolution with us. Welcome to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. Guys and gals, ladies and lads, welcome to another episode of the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. And right at the start, I must apologize. You might have noticed the lack of an upload last week, and the reason for this is very simple. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of insight. So basically, we record these episodes always on Mondays, and last Monday, Dueling Book was down literally the entire day, so we couldn't get an episode going. We played like 2 turns, and then it just died. We waited for like 2 hours for it to come back online. Nothing. We decided we just give up and try again next week. And in the end, I think it was down for like 7 hours or something crazy. It was down for a long time, so that's why there was no upload last week. So sorry for that. But this time, hopefully, the site will actually work. And my deck break, I wanted to re-record this to have this intro here, and now with a little bit of insight to the cards, since I did the breakdown basically one time before. I hopefully can run through it a little bit more efficiently. My deck breakdown was recorded last week, so that's why I'll be at least wearing different clothing on that one. But Metal Raiders, let's get into it. And this set actually has a lot of power in it, so without further ado, let's start analyzing. So Gate Guardian made its debut, as well as obviously Sanga, Kezijin, and Suijin. I doubt we're going to be seeing those. Then there's just a bunch of vanillas. Summon Skull actually debuts in a core set here, so we both have access to this now. It's just a 1 tribute, very powerful vanilla. And then Mask of Darkness and an equivalent later. This is just a simple monster that on flip targets a trap in your graveyard and adds it to your hand. And White Magical Hat, which also has an equivalent. When it inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, your opponent discards a card randomly. I'm assuming we will be seeing a Mask of Darkness. White Magical Hat is a strong maybe, but given the circumstance, it can actually be quite powerful. Mass Sorcerer is the equivalent to White Magical Hat. Instead, it draws a card from your deck when it inflicts battle damage, and it actually has a decent defense, so it might actually inflict battle damage that way as well. Elegant Egotist, special summons from deck, which was revolutionary, but like I said, we're probably not going to be seeing. Here's the Gate Guardian line. Not going to be seeing those either, I don't think. Then there's just a bunch of random pack filler. The first Jinzo, but not the relevant Jinzo. We'll be seeing that a little bit later. But Magician of Faith. Mask of Darkness on flip, targeted a spell and added it to your hand. Magician of Faith does the same to spell cards. These two are going to be definitely staples for us this episode, and I expect us to see them quite a bit. Magician of Faith. Historically better, since there are so many powerful spells, and obviously spells being able to be activated immediately. Pretty good. Then there's just a bunch of random vanillas, random fusions, and a bunch of monsters that can attack your opponent directly, but they all have terrible stat lines, so those being in the set doesn't really matter. Then we get to the spells and traps. Tribute to the Doomed discards a card and then targets a monster in the field and destroys it. This is going to be our staple removal for the episode. Change of Heart last time was on the Yugi starter deck. And here it makes a debut in a core set. Time Wizard also debuts here. I don't think we're going to see it, but we'll see. Sengen, and later on another card make their debuts as well. These are basically, if they're sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. And then this is the errata that it got later. You can't activate cards or effects with that name for the rest of the turn, and you can only use it once per turn. We're going to be playing with the updated rules, so those will apply. Kerbo, one of the earliest hand traps. You can, during damage calculation, discard this card from your hand and not take battle damage from an opponent's attack. There's also a bunch of like weird zombie support that we probably won't see. Catapult Turtle also debuts here. Clown Control pieces debut here. That'd be too hard for me to play. I know for a fact I'd be gonna be going for a more straight up strategy, but it would be interesting to see if Jeex maybe goes that route, but I doubt it. I'm not that familiar with the whole Clan Control deck, but I don't know if there are enough pieces in this set alone. Jiragumo, a normal summonable 2200 attacker, which when it declares an attack, you toss a coin. If you call it wrong, you lose half your life points. So, but what this card can do, you can just normal summon it and have it sit there, and well, it's bigger than what the defenders were that we had access in the past, so it just works as a very good wall, and I expect both of us to be playing this. Ryukishin also debuts here. 1600 normal summon. Last time it was only in the Kaiba structure deck, so that is also something we both have access to. Thunder Dragon, 7-colored fish is the strongest normal summon in the set at 1800. Then we have Hoshingen. All of these cards that boost their respective element and weaken their counterpart debut here, that later got made into Link monsters, which I think is pretty cool. Then a Dark Elf, another one that is like, oh yeah, when I said the strongest normal summon 7-colored fish I meant without a drawback. Dark Elf is a 2k attacker that you must pay 1000 life points to attack with Dark Elf. So that is another like very powerful card that you can just summon and sit on it, but also 1000 life points isn't too bad, so this will probably be the prime beater. And here's Witch of the Black Forest. This is just an equivalent to Sengan, which adds a monster with 1500 or less defense instead of attack, and otherwise it has the same effects. And what is pretty important is this can actually add Summon Skull, since that has 1200 defense, I believe. Then we're coming to the end here. Barrel Dragon is a 2-tribute monster, probably the best one here, better than Sengan and the others, but still I think 2-tribute is going to be a bit too steep, so I doubt we're going to be seeing this, but it could be a cool tech card to maybe have like as one copy. And then we get into the counter traps here. So Horn of Heaven, 7 Tools of the Bandit, and Magic Jammer are all the counter traps that respectively are used to counter a card type. Horn of Heaven tributes a monster to negate the summon of a monster. 7 Tools of the Bandit pays 1000 life point to negate the activation of a trap. And Magic Jammer discards a card to negate the activation of a spell card and destroys that card. So these, Horn of Heaven is pretty hefty on the tribute cost. And oh yeah, Solemn Judgment is the first Omni negate. So when a monster would be summoned or a spell or trap card is activated, you pay half your life point and negate summon and destroy the card. This, both of us will definitely be playing at 3 copies. It's just incredible. And Magic Jammer and 7 Tools of Bandit I expect to see at some copies as well. Hell, these are all powerful trap cards that can be used to can be countered with 7 Tools of Bandit, and as we can say a little bit later, and as we already saw with Tribute to the Doomed, Magic Jammer will also have its place. So these are all just very powerful counter trap cards that will be staples this set. Then we have a Sword of the Deep Sea, which is a 500 attack and defense boost with no drawbacks, but no real drawbacks other than placing it on top of your deck. So it can clog your draws, but it's still just 500 boost at all times without other drawbacks. So it's actually a decent equip. Then we have Mirror Force, which is another really powerful trap. Basically just when an opponent's monster declares an attack, all of your opponent's attack position monsters will be wiped from the field. And given stuff like Jiragumo, Dark Elf that are the prime walls of this set, and they're going to be mostly sitting in attack mode, this can also in addition to maybe wipe a Summon Skull that is threatening your life, also wipe out those cards as well. So this is something else that I'm definitely expecting to see quite a bit. And then when I was speaking of like powerful spell cards as well, the most powerful of them all for sure in this set, Heavy Storm, just wipes all spells and traps on the field. And given how many powerful traps we have, we're going to be setting back row a lot, and this is just going to be an incredible blowout card, that strategy. But yeah, as you can see, there's actually quite a bit of power in this set, so I'm interested to see which way Jeex will go about this. Like I said, since I recorded this afterwards, I already made my deck a week ago and I haven't changed that, so I already know what's in my deck, and you're going to be seeing a lot of these cards there. But with that all being said, enjoy the deck building sections, and once again, sorry for lack of an episode last week. Hopefully we'll get back to standard uploads from now on again. So I will see you all in the deck building section, and enjoy the episode.
So we're here with Metal Raiders, this time struggling to think of anything interesting to make for the deck or for the whole booster. The biggest problem with the booster was that there are an insane amount of interesting possible cards in it, stuff like Castle Dark Illusion, Pumpkin King, and other similar, like, very niche cards. But the biggest problem with these cards are that they all lose to the good cards in the set. For example, Castle Dark Illusion has less than 2000 defense, which means that it gets immediately run over by Dark Elf and Jirai Gumo, and it also loses 7-colored fish if you put any kind of equip on it. So the end result is that it's not worth running Castle Dark Illusion no matter what you do. And Pumpkin King is a 1-tribute monster, which makes him significantly worse than any other 1-tribute monster in the set, and the only 1-tribute monster in the set that's actually relevant being Summoned Skull. So not having a 2.5k beater would be a huge fucking loss. So the whole deck ends up revolving around getting Summoned Skull or something that can deal with Summoned Skull out on the field. In this deck we have Dark Elf, which is a 2k beater who can be equipped Stimpack to then deal with Summoned Skull. It has a drawback that's completely negligible, or arguably. We're going to get back to that a bit later. But honestly, this is probably the best card in the set right after Summoned Skull and all the spell traps, specifically because the fact, or actually there's one other card that I didn't end up running, which could be a competitor for that as well. It's Jirai Gumo. That's a 2.2k beat stick with a massive downside in comparison to Dark Elf. But these two are like your main beaters that aren't Summoned Skull. These are the two monsters that will probably stay on the field for the longest, other than Summoned Skull again. And after that we have Magician of Faith. Magician of Faith is specifically here to get recursion for things like Change of Heart and Heavy Storm and Tribute to the Doomed, all three cards being very relevant for this specific set because of the fact that, well, we got a lot of back row, we got Solemn Judgment, we got Seventh of the Band, we got Mirror Force, we got Magic Jammer, so Heavy Storm is insanely good. It's beyond broken, arguably, and having a chance to draw more than one of them in any given one of the game, that's insane. I'm playing two of them simply because the fact that I felt like I don't want to break my own back row too often, so it led to a situation that I chose to run 3 Mirror Force and 3 Solemn over running 3 copies of Heavy Storm, simply so I don't end up breaking my own Mirror Forces or my own 7 Tools of Bandit or my own Solemn Judgments. And then there's Change of Heart, 2 copies of Change of Heart. And Change of Heart is a really good card, as we've already established in the previous sets. So Change of Heart lets me get tribute fodder for Summoned Skull, which lets me turbo out Summoned Skull and arguably even, or possibly even turn 2. And it also allows me to steal flip monsters from my opponent. For example, let's say I play Change of Heart on a Magician of Fate, and I get to then use Magician of Fate's ability to flip a face up, and I get to add the same Change of Heart back to my hand, and I can then tribute it for Summoned Skull. It's really good. It's overall probably the most versatile card in the entire set. And Magician of Fate solely exists to have recursion for these 2 cards, and then possibly Tribute to the Doomed, which is a really good removal tool for Magician of Faith and Massacre Darkness, and even Summoned Skull. Because unlike other forms of removal, Tribute to the Doomed will not flip Magician of Faith or Mask of Darkness, which will make it so that you cannot get traps or spells back. But yeah, the Magician of Faith is overall a very slow card in here, but it's very useful if you do get it off, with the biggest issue being the Tribute to the Doomed is something that both of us are absolutely going to be playing. So Magician of Faith and Mask of Darkness are important for that, are important for recursion. And then there's Mask of Darkness is for traps, by the way, just in case I didn't make that clear. Mask of Darkness allows me to fetch Mirror Force and Solemn Judgment from a graveyard, which are both key pieces to keeping myself alive and making sure that my opponent does not get to play their Summoned Skull. And then we have Errata Sangan and Errata Witch of the Black Forest, which are both cards that tutor cards that have 1500 attack or less, or 1500 defense or less, respectively. And these cards are the backbone, I'd say, of this entire deck, where they can be set face down and they can just fetch me a Summoned Skull, or fetch me a 7-colored fish, or fetch me a Dark Elf, or anything else, really. They just allow me to play fewer copies of some cards or more copies of everything I would ever want. Technically, I have 6 copies of Summoned Skull in my deck, and 6 copies of 7-colored fish, and 6 copies of Dark Elf, because of the fact that I have 3 Witch of the Black Forest in my deck. And Sangan is only here for fetching Magician of Faith and Mask of Darkness and Witch of the Black Forest, which makes it so that I have 5 copies of Witch of the Black Forest in my deck. And there's also Witch's Apprentice, just in case I end up getting both of these or one of these out on the field, and I have Witch's Apprentice in my hand. I can use them as small beat sticks to beat over things like maybe, let's say, Magical Hat. I think it's Magical Hat. Yeah, this guy. What Magical Hat? When this card inflicts battle damage, your opponent... when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, your opponent discards 1 card randomly from his or her hand. If my opponent happens to play something like this, it wouldn't be something that I can actually beat over with Sangan normally if it's an attack. Witch of the Black Forest could barely get over that. But I would say that it's just not worth risking it. So having something like Witch's Apprentice to buff up my dinky little weenies, I guess, to swing over medium-sized threats would be helpful later on. The 5k attack boost would also be relevant for things like Ryukishin and Dark Elf. If my opponent happens to be playing Stimpack or the other equip, which I don't currently remember the name of, but that effectively serves as a white unicorn horn, but it doesn't. It gives you 500 attack and defense instead of just 700 attack. Then there's beaters. The usual 7-colored fish, that's like legend for this set, and then Ryukyushin Powered, because Ryukyushin Powered is a dark type, level 4, 1.6k attack, which means it gets powered up by Witch's Apprentice, and that in conjunction with Stimpack is fairly difficult to get rid of by most cards on the field. For example, Jirai Gumo is an earth type, so you could easily beat over Jirai Gumo by having Witch's Apprentice and Stimpack on Ryukishin. But this is like such a fringe case, but it's something that can happen. It's a possibility. Then there's Summoned Skull. Summoned Skull doesn't need any kind of introduction here. It's a 2.5k beater with 1 tribute. It's the best card in the set. It's the card you should absolutely be playing, and no other monster in the deck really matters outside of that as long as you can get it out. This time we don't have any kind of revival or reanimation, so we're kind of stuck with actually hard summoning Summoned Skull using either using cards that manage to stay on the field for a turn, which aren't many because there's only like Dark Elf and Jirai Gumo as cards that have high enough quote-unquote defense to stay on the field for a long period of time, because Dark Elf has 2k attack, so Ryukishin and 7-colored fish can't swing over it, and Jirai Gumo has 2.2k attack, so you can't even trade your Dark Elf into it. Yeah, Summoned Skull beatdown is the name of the game, and that's all there really is to the deck at this point. And then we have Stimpack, which I didn't talk about when I was talking about the rest of the spells. Stimpack exists here as kind of a tech card. It's meant to be like slapped on a Dark Elf or 7-colored fish in order for them to beat over or trade into Summoned Skull, which is really important because having an option to deal with Summoned Skull is more important than having Summoned Skull yourself, I'd say. Which is also why Tribute to Doomed is so important, because even if you do not get your own Summoned Skull out, making sure your opponent doesn't get theirs out is like tantamount to victory. But that's about the main deck done. Then we can go to the side deck, which has one more copy of Magician of Faith, the Mask of Darkness, because the fact that if I end up feeling like I need more of the spells in my hand or more of the traps in my hand, I can just side them in game 2, game 3. And then there's Princess of Tsurgi. Princess of Tsurgi is here specifically to discourage life point like usage. Because we have cards such as Solemn Judgment, which I didn't even introduce earlier, simply assuming that everybody knows what Solemn Judgment does. You pay half of your life points and you negate a summon or a spell trap. That's really good. That's an insane effect. It's really good for this specific period of time, and considering how much resources you have to invest in order to summon any given card, this card is insanely powerful. And all of the spells and traps that we have in this are also very strong. So both of us are probably going to be running 3 of this. And because we're both probably going to be running 3 copies of Solemn Judgment, we're both probably going to be running 7 Tools of the Bandit, which then leads back into the Princess of Tsurgi case, where Princess of Tsurgi has the ability to burn 500 life points from your opponent for each spell and trap they have on their side of the field. So let's say my opponent has managed to use Solemn Judgment and 7 Tools of the Bandit, and they have 3 cards set in the back row. They can now lose effectively 50% of their life points at that point in the game. That's really big. And if I happen to have multiple of these in the deck or multiple set or something, that can win me the game. This also ties into the first new spell trap that I have in my side deck, which is Tremendous Fire, which burns for 1,000 damage, but I take 500. Now this card can actually win you the game because of how many cards we have that self-burn. So I'm hoping that I don't have to side into it, but it's also an option just in case my opponent happens to be playing something that is very expensive for his life total. Also, Dark Elf is in here, and Dark Elf also has the ability of like burning you yourself for 1,000 when you attack with it. So it can be that you're even lower than 3k or maybe even 2k. And if my opponent happens to be playing the fastest beater in the booster, which is Jiragumo, he can lose 50% of his life points every time he attacks, which is scary for him and really good for burn, for example. And other than that, we have another copy of Reacher's Apprentice, which is in here simply for the fact that if I happen to start like snowballing out of control, where I managed to get a Witch's Apprentice on the field and a Ryokushin or Dark Elf on the field, and I managed to play 2 of these. Now my Dark Elf is a 3k beater, and there aren't really many things that can beat over it. Or well, Summon Skull will be able to beat over it simply by the virtue of the fact that it will also gain 1,000 attack at that point. But Dark Elf will be able to trade into basically everything else, and if not trade into everything else, it'll be able to deal massive damage, and it will have to be dealt with almost instantly. Then a third copy of Change of Heart, which I probably could have played in the main deck here, but I figured having multiple copies of Change of Heart can be a brick. If I draw 3 copies of Change of Heart and I have nothing to sack for them, I simply kind of just sit there twiddling my thumbs thinking, well, it would have been cool to have another monster in hand here. It could have been really cool to have more disruption in hand for next turn. So I decided going 2 is probably better. And then for Heavy Storm, the reason why I talked about this earlier, but the reason why I have the 3rd copy in the side deck is simply because I don't want to blow up my own back row all the time. 3rd copy of Stimpak also, in case I figure that I need to accelerate the game more. It's the same thing as in the previous sets, where I just have cards in the side deck that are meant to make the game go faster in game 2 if I feel like the game is slowing down to a crawl. Then Tremendous Fire, which we already talked about. It's a really good card for this specific set because we're both going to be playing self-burn a lot. And then a 3rd copy of Tribute to the Doomed. Yet again, it's a card that I think is really good if you draw it, but like having 2 of it in your hand feels really bad. So I want to play 2 of it in the main deck. And the 3rd copy in the side deck if I feel like I can't deal with the threats that are being presented on the board. Then 1 off of Horn of Heaven if I feel like I can't constantly be paying half of my life points. If my opponent decides to side into, for example, I'll burn, like I have a plan here for that. If he decides to start doing that, I can use Horn of Heaven in place of Solemn Judgment in my main deck just so I can have a negation that doesn't cost like an insane amount of health. And then a Magic Jammer and a 7 Tools of the Bandit. I don't think I even talked about Magic Jammer, but it's just a negation for a spell card, and that's really good and that's really useful. And honestly, like next to Solemn Judgment, I'd imagine that card is going to see the most play because it's like Change of Heart, Heavy Storm, Stimpak, and Tribute to Darkness. Or well, I won't set Tribute to Darkness, but like if I happen to set cards But not that. If I happen to play any of these cards, Magic Jammer would probably just fuck me over. So yeah, that's all I can really say about this. I think the game's gonna be pretty even, simply by the virtue that we're probably both gonna be playing a very similar deck. Once again, just as with Legend of Blue Eyes. With the starter decks, the problem was mostly that we had completely different card pools, and that led to a wholly different deck building experience for each of us. But now that we're once again using the same card pool, it's probably gonna look a lot similar again, simply because of the fact that Summon Skull is the best card in the deck, Solemn Judgment is the best trap in the deck, Mirror Force the second best, Heavy Storm is too good to pass on because of these two, and Change of Heart is in here, which will let you turbo out Summon Skull, and everything else in the deck is there simply to help you do that. So yeah, I assume we're gonna have basically the same deck. I think that's about it. That covers almost everything, and yeah, good luck in the games.
Guys and gals, welcome to the deck breakdown for the Metal Raiders episode. And yeah, here's what we have cooked up for today's episode. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of this list. As you can probably tell from the set breakdown, this set has a lot of good cards, and I mean a lot of good cards. It kind of shows in that most of our side deck is actually just extra copies of cards that we are playing in the main deck already, but I'll cover that in a little bit. But let's start with the main deck, and we're actually pretty monster. I don't think we've had this monster heavy of a lineup yet, so we'll see how that fares. But we're starting off with Summon Skull. As you could probably tell from the last episode when we were playing with the starter decks, and the Yugi starter deck has Summon Skull, it's good. It's just a single tribute monster, 2500 attack. It's just a big beater. It kind of wreaks havoc and dominates the games in which it gets summoned. We are finally playing without Monster Reborn, so we can't simply bring it out of the grave, but we have some pretty good ways of finding it, as well as just monsters that can pretty easily stick on the field. So we have ways to bring out the Summon Skull. As an additional vanilla, I just have 1/7 color fish. I'm playing 2 more in the side deck if I feel like I want to swap out some of the more gimmick options for just a straight up beater, but this is just an 1800 beater, which gets power crept here since Dark Elf is a level 4 normal summonable monster with 2000 attack. It requires a cost to be paid when you want to attack with it of 1000 life points, but not only can you just sit on this on attack mode, and it's kind of serves as a wall, the wall type of monsters we had in the past, but it also isn't too bad if you want to beat over something. 1000 life points, not too bad. What is more bad though is Jurai Gumo. It's a normal summon 2200 attacker. When declaring attack, you toss a coin, and if you call it wrong, you lose half your life points. And as you'll see later, there's quite a few quite a few cards in this set that actually care about you like paying a cost, paying life points and stuff. So most of the time, this will just be a wall. We are not going to swing with this unless we're swinging for game. This is just going to sit there in attack mode, and unless something is equipped or it gets targeted removal, then it's not getting beat over by anything else than an opposing Summon Skull. And then some of the most powerful monsters in the set, Witch of the Black Forest and Sangan. So these are both normal summonable monsters that, when sent from the field to the graveyard, fetch a card from the deck, which fetches you a monster with 1500 or less defense, and Sangan the same, but with 1500 or less attack. And you cannot activate cards or their effects with the fetch card's name for the rest of the turn. They are still very good at refuel our hand and keep our steady flow of monsters going for some discard costs that you'll find out we have later. Then we are playing 2 Magician. What did I say? We're playing 2 Magician of Faith and 2 Mask of Darkness. And these are both just unflip. They target a spell and a trap respectively in your grave and add it back to your hand. And as you can see from the lineup, we are playing such powerful spells and traps. So getting to reuse them is very good. I like 2 of each, since obviously you don't want to really see them on your first couple of turns, but later on these are going to be extremely good sets. And then we're playing a single white magical hat, and we are playing 2 more in the site, but this is sort of here. This is something that if we see an opportune game state, this can be fetched with both Witch and Sangan, which is why we're only playing 1. And since basically every card that we are playing, and I'm assuming Jeex's list is going to be pretty similar, is so powerful, ripping a card out of our opponent's hand and tossing it in the grave is going to be extremely powerful. So if we have like a situation where our Sangan or Witch, that set, gets beat over, and we have like a Change of Heart or Tribute to the Doomed. Okay, if we had a Change of Heart, we probably want to fetch Summon Skull with Witch. But if we have something like a Tribute to the Doomed, remove the opposing Summon Skull or something, then White Magical Hat might actually be pretty nice. But I'm only playing 1 because it's searchable by these, and I'm not sure yet. I might opt for some like straight up beaters, like another 7-color fish or something in game 2 if it calls for it. But I felt like it was interesting enough that I wanted to try it. Then Change of Heart, another card that returns from the Yugi starter deck. This basically just means we can take a monster and use it to beat over one of his monsters and maybe tribute over it with Summon Skull or something like that, or just use it as a tempo swing. So this is just a really good card. Speaking of really good cards, if you're looking at our insanely good trap lineup, yeah, Heavy Storm is gonna be insane in the set. This is arguably the best card in the set. I say arguably because Sullen Judgment, but this is just like blow all of your opponent's back row. And yeah, it's gonna be a blowout card. If it ever comes up, it's probably gonna just straight up win the game to whoever uses it. Then we are playing Tribute of the Doom. This is our best spell removal that we have in the format. Discard 1 card and then target 1 monster on the field and destroy it. And we can help fuel the discard cost with Witch and Sangan searches. If we have nothing else, we can do that. We can also use this to discard a trap or a spell to the grave for Moth or Busk of Darkness. And yeah, it's just gonna be good because the format will most likely revolve around whoever gets to go Summon Skull beatdown first. So being able to remove the Summon Skull is good, as well as possibly getting rid of a set Magician of Fate or Mask of Darkness without their flip effects going off. Then a Mirror Force. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all of their attack position monsters. Very simple, effective removal of a lot of the time our opponent's whole board, although there will be stuff that obviously we are probably just setting in defense, like the recruiters as well as these flip monsters, but stuff like Dark Elf and Jiragumo that I'm sure he is always going to be playing as well, they are going to be sitting there in attack, so we can also get rid of them as well as probably Summon Skull or other threats with this. Solemn Judgment is just a catch-all. Pay half your life points to negate the summon of a monster or a spell or a trap. So it does anything. It also is there to counter the other good counter traps. It's just, you can use this to counter Mirror Force, you can use to counter Heavy Storm, you can use to counter Summon Skull. It just does way too much. And then we have 2 7 Tools of the Bandit and 2 Magic Jammer. So these are the counter traps for a trap card activation and spell card activation. As you can see, all of these spell traps are so powerful, it's going to be very powerful if we can stop them. 7 Tools of the Bandit requires 1000 LP to activate, a Magic Jammer a card discard. So 7 Tools of the Bandit will most of the time be more live, but with stuff like Solemn Judgment and Dark Elf, even Jiragumo sometimes, it might sometimes not be alive, but most of the time these are still going to be live. These have a harsher cost than Solemn Judgment most of the time, so that's why I'm only playing 2 of each, plus Solemn Judgment just catches all. Then for the side deck, as I said, most of the stuff here is duplicates. We have 2 more 7-color fish if we just need more beatdown. If you're constantly getting spells or traps in the grave, we have another Mask of Darkness and Magician of Faith. I have 2 more white magic. I have 2 more white magical hat inside as well if I really like the strategy and want to go more on that. We have the 3rd copy of Jammer as well as 7 tools of the bandit here as well. Then we have a single Karibo. This is mostly here because Summon Skull, Dark Elf, Jiragumo, all of this hit really hard if they connect, as well as having White Magical Hat and Mass Sorcerer, which I'll talk in a bit, that have effects that trigger on battle damage. Upon doing battle damage, so Karibo can come in handy on those scenarios, especially since we have a lot of stuff that we actually want to have life points for, like Dark Elf, Solemn Judgment, and 7 tools. So this just here, I don't think I'm going to side into it, but it's there as a emergency backup plan. And then what I think is probably the more interesting in my tech-in for the deck is 3 Max Sorcerer and 3 sort of the deep-seated. And the idea of the sort of the deep-seated is kind of twofold. Jiragumo equipped with this cannot be beat over by anything. Like Summon Skull cannot beat over the Jiragumo, so he can just sit there. If it gets removed, it gets placed on the top of the deck though. So that is what Mass Sorcerer is here for. Not only being able to draw extra cards is obviously nice, but it's also here that if we are constantly finding like this on top of our deck, then we can just use Mass Sorcerer if the opportunity comes to draw that and still get a new fresh card, so we're not like sort of clogging our draws. I feel like it's still too inconsistent to include in the main deck, but I think I like it as a sort of maybe a game 2 option. Another thing about this is obviously it raises our Summon Skull to 3k, and if he's not playing this, then we'll win the Summon Skull Summon Skull off. Finally, Mass Sorcerer actually has a decently high defense, and it doesn't have to inflict the battle damage attacking. So the thing is, actually, setting Mass Sorcerer isn't too bad, because I feel like stuff like Witch and Sangan are going to be swinging an okay amount of time into just set monsters. So if Jeex swings one of these into a set Mass Sorcerer thinking it's like one of our flips or something, I feel like that's a very reasonable play, and that'll let us immediately draw, which is obviously insanely powerful. And finally, on the sort of deep-seated, if we find multiple copies, we obviously don't want too many of them clogging, so we probably only want 1 in rotation. We do have stuff like Magic Jammer and Attributed Doom that require a discard cost to activate, so sort of the deep-seated can then be used to fuel those as well. But overall, I'm actually like really happy with the deck. I feel like there's a lot of power, and most of these are like pretty obvious inclusions, but I'm interested to see like what kind of stuff Jeex has come up with. Sorry that I noticed I'm almost at 13 minutes. This deck breakdown ran like I think double as long as my usual ones do, but I just had a lot to talk about the deck because I feel like there's a lot of interesting cards and powerful cards in this set. But we won't make you wait any longer, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody. I will see you in the dueling zone, and it's time to get your game on. Ladies and lads, welcome back. And as I alluded to in the set breakdown already, sorry for the lack of an episode last week. Dueling Buck was acting up, so hopefully today we have better luck. So, Jeex, how are you feeling today?
I'm terrified, I'll be honest. I don't know how this deck is going to do at all, and I genuinely don't even remember what my game plan was originally, because it's been too long now.
That's fair, that's fair. But yeah, let's see how it goes, and best of luck. And shit.
Same to you.
Alrighty. Well,
this does not bode well. I'm gonna set one, and I'm gonna normal summon a 7-card fish. I'm gonna end my turn. Oh, I need to use the phases.
Oh yeah, but hey, already remembering, that's pretty good.
It didn't even take 5 turns.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so how do we want to do this is the question. Do I want to be greedy? I don't think I want to be greedy. I think we'll simply... Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do is attempt to normal a dark elf. Is that okay?
That is acceptable.
Alright, then we'll go battle phase and we'll pay 1,000 to swing over this fish.
That is also acceptable. Fuck.
Fish is gone, and then I will actually... Yeah, actually, never mind. I'll just pass it back to you.
Alright. I'll just activate this card called Tribute to the Doom real quick, and I'll send to the graveyard a card from my hand. I'm targeting Dark Elf. Acceptable?
Yes, nothing I can do about that.
Okay, I'm gonna then set 1 card face down. I'm gonna end my turn.
Alright. I will draw standby main. I think it's pretty cool, like this Witch's Apprentice and this stuff that was later made into the like generic link monsters for like attribute support all came from this set.
I think if they hadn't done something like that, we probably would have never seen like any kind of actual generic support.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, I'm really glad they got revamped.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool. Yeah, I think I will just follow what you did. I will set and I will set, and that'll be my turn. Back to you, buddy.
Okay. I'll just take my turn and I'll
tribute for some skull.
If only. Be honest, it's not looking too hot. I'm just gonna pass.
Oh, okay. That is interesting.
My hand isn't looking too hot for the situation, so.
Yeah, I guess I believe it. I believe it. Do I want to be greedy? I do. Yeah, let's start off by going to the main phase and activating my own Tribute to the Doomed. I'll target this and I'll pitch Jiragumo from my... Okay.
I should have just slipped.
Okay, that's a good hit. That's a good hit. Then what...
I did not flip because I was thinking, oh, if it's gonna be a solemn, then it's wasted. So I'd rather wait until you swing on it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so that was a good gamble. We'll normal the Sangen, and how greedy do I want to be is the question. I kind of like my position, but do I? Yeah. Well, we'll go full greed. We'll also flip up this switch.
Full grid.
Is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay, and then we'll go battle. We'll attempt to swing Sangen for 1,000.
Yep.
And there is no mirror force, thank God. And 1,100. And that'll be all she wrote. Back to you.
I'm just gonna set 1 real quick and pass it to you.
Okay. What would that be? Probably like a... The problem here is like... If it's like a... Witch or... Oh. Okay, how greedy do I actually want to be though? This is... Because the problem is like, if it's a witch, I can't get over that. Which sucks.
I think confirming that would be better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you still have a massive life lead, right? So even if it is witch, you'd only lose like 100 life points total. Right?
Yeah, that's the I think that's the proper play. But now the thing is, because what's the punish? What do I care about? Because it's like Tribute to the Doomed, if it's another Magician of Fate, is kind
It's
of
not that
okay.
great.
Yeah.
It's not that great.
Which I can't
Because
get
like,
over.
if you think about it, if it is another Magician of Faith here, I only get Tribute to the Doom back to my hand, which is gonna be a -2 to get rid of one of your creatures, which is always gonna be a bad play here, and I'm always gonna be trying to save it for some skull, right?
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because like both of these float into something else, which was not too bad. And I guess I can always set my Sangan in defense too. Yeah, I don't see any reason to be greedy. I think we'll just go battle and we'll swing it at this. It's probably a witch, right?
We're gonna flip, and it's a Witch of the Black
Yeah,
Forest.
so I take 100. And then we go main 2. We'll flip the Sangan to defense and we'll set a card and set a card. And that'll be all she wrote.
Okay, then we draw.
Thank God there's no Raigeki in this format.
Thank God there's no Raigeki. But you know what there is?
Don't change the
A
mark.
heavy storm.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, I have to do this. Yeah, I'm flipping up this.
I'm sorry to say, but I'm gonna make off like a bandit.
Oh shit. Okay, so I pay, what is it? Math is hard. 30 for 50, right? Yeah. 34.50. Then you pay 1,000 and I pay another 1,000.
No! I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's
Actually,
that's
why would actually? Yeah, never mind. Yeah, you know what? This goes to grave. I was just about to. I mean, yeah, it's funny, but it's going to grave by heavy storm either way. So never mind. That actually does. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with that play.
Yeah, I think I'll retract the statement. And now there's a summon skull, and then I just lose, right?
If only there was a summoned skull.
Okay,
right?
thank God, because that instantly basically loses me the game.
I'm gonna go into attack, and then because of the fact that this is gonna be a good play, quote unquote, I'm gonna put this into attack.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna gamble a bit.
I don't
So
like that.
you have Dry Gumo, you have Dark Elf. I assume you're playing 3 of each. You're gonna be playing 3 copies of Summoned Skull. You have Witch of the Black Forest in attack there, which means you can now trade with my Witch of the Black Forest, which is gonna be a arguably net gain for me because the fact that your Witch of the Black Forest will then search me for a card for me, and then I probably have options later on because I have 2 cards in hand against your 1 card and so on and so forth. I think me attacking Sangan here would be a good play simply because the fact that you most likely don't have anything that worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
And the face down could be like Magician of Faith, and you have to reach the Doom for that. No, I think this is gonna be what we're gonna do.
Okay, so it is actually another
No
witch.
way.
So take your 100.
Okay. I'm gonna take 100 damage, and then I'm gonna set 1 card, and then I'm gonna have to pass.
Oh, I don't like that back row. Because the thing is, now the logical play here. I swing witch to your witch. We both probably get a summon skull, but then my summon skull would come out on main 2, which means I don't really get to use it.
You also get to tutor another card. Remember that.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, we're both getting summon skull if I crash our witches.
No,
like,
we're not.
That is going to happen.
No. If you crash your witch into my witch, I lose my witch, and you get a summoned skull, and you can summon the summoned skull this turn, and then you can tutor another summoned skull, right? And then next turn, if your summoned skull dies, you can just sack the Sangan for another summoned skull. You can guarantee getting 2 summoned skulls on this turn, basically.
The back row, like,
I know it's scary, but like, come on, man, don't worry about it. Okay?
it's gonna, like, this is going to be a judgment. There is no world in which you said this and it's not judgment. Or a mirror force, which either way would be awful. Oh, man.
Man.
Okay, so. Is this dumb? It's dumb, right? It's so dumb. It makes 0 sense and it's so stupid. Oh, man. Because, like. Yeah, whatever. Thinking isn't for me. What we're gonna do.
Same.
This Sangan and this witch, they all go to attack. And we go battle phase and we crash our witches. Unless you mirror force me here, in which case I'd look like a fucking dumbass. Well, okay, so
That's crazy.
to the grave, and we're gonna search
Now
for
you get to search for 2 cards.
3, right? Or
Which of the black
it's
force is
once
hard ones per
Yeah,
turn?
that's true.
Because I forgot it was 100 points per turn as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that as well, because I probably should have kept it in defense knowing that. But regardless, my witch will get me a summoned skull. And my... is that actually... That's actually kinda interesting. But also, it would basically kill me. Yeah, no. Shit. Does it make sense though? Man, I hate this. Yeah, no. Wait, actually, okay. All right, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, so with Sangan, I'll get Mask of Darkness to my hand.
Okay, that's the right play, yeah.
And then we go...
Oops, I accidentally said something.
It's all good. We go main 2, and we set a card, which, you know, nobody knows what it could be. And then we
I have no idea.
set a back row, and we pass it back to you.
I take my turn.
This, kids, is why you shouldn't be greedy. God damn it.
Attack your Mask of Darkness.
I mean, it could be anything, you know.
I attack your Mask of Darkness.
Okay, well, my Mask of Darkness goes to the grave, and I would like to add this Solemn Judgment back to my hand.
I am perfectly content with you adding that Solemn Judgment to your hand. I'm then going to set 1 card face down. I'm going to pass it over to you again.
All right.
This is way too slow, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I was not expecting it to be this slow. I was thinking this format, this time we're going to zoom. We're going to go so fucking fast.
I mean, it's fast when Summon Skull is in circulation, but there are 0 because my dumbass decided to be a moron, so... Yeah, but we keep moving. Now the question is, do I... No, okay, I've been greedy enough. We'll normal this Jiraigumo. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We proceed to the battle phase, and we proceed out of the battle phase. And then we'll set this card. And there's no way you draw... Fuck you, there's no way you draw another heavy stone. We set this card as well, and then we end the turn, and there's... You have 0 idea what the last card in my hand is. Like, absolutely 0.
I've never in my life seen this card, man. What the fuck? Like, holy hell.
I'm kicking myself over there. Why did I flip all my shit to attack? Like, why?
I'm gonna change Reach of the Black Forest into defense.
Oh.
And I'm gonna pass.
Bro, I don't like this. Oh, I'm going to end it all. This is nothing, man. Oh, I hate it here. Do I go for... But if I extend into that, then it just... Yeah, no. Yeah, we'll tribute this to normal summon skull.
No way!
Don't solemn me.
I don't have one.
Oh, so the summon is fine?
No.
Okay,
No, just
and then we proceed to battle phase and swing into this.
Yeah.
And
Goes
then you
to the
fetch
graveyard.
summon skull.
I search my deck and I add to my hand
Just put me out of my misery.
My hand. Sungun.
Oh, I like that even less. Okay, we proceed main 2. And... yeah, we pass the turn. And this is where you change of heart my summon skull tribute over your own summon skull. And I just hate everything.
Well, the thing is, if you read one of your cards real quick, you'll know what it says, right?
Yes.
You do know what it says, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. So, change of heart, there's nothing.
I mean, in the instance that I have a judgment set, I would have to pay
know
stuff.
you
And
have
like, you also have a back row, which is why I'm terrified.
Yeah. I'm gonna set one card, and then I'm gonna pass it over to you.
And this is where I draw something good. Well, you know. Okay, what's the punish here? This is Mask of Darkness or Magician of Faith, and I hate everything. And if it's something else, then I guess I'm fine with it. There's no way it's nothing else, but thinking is for smart people. I'm not smart, so I'm instead going to normal a 7-color fish. Is that fine?
That is okay.
I will proceed to battle phase and run into this face down.
It is surprisingly enough, Sangan. Wow.
Okay, and Sangan will search for...
I get to add to my hand.
Which?
Fucking hell, dude.
This has been exhilarating gameplay. And there have been no misplays from either side whatsoever. We played perfect Yu-Gi-Oh!
Add to my hand Magician of Fate.
I hate it here. Yeah.
I should have probably already done... I should have probably skipped Sangan entirely, but I wanted to thin out my deck, hoping that you wouldn't end up drawing a card here that would be relevant.
That's fair, and this will attempt to swing for 2,500.
That's 2,500 taken, yep.
And main 2, I will... yeah, no. Faith comes down. Goes for... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Never mind. Nothing. Back to you.
Okay, I draw. I activate...
If you fire off another Heavy Storm, I'm going to...
Change of heart. Targeting your Sun Skull.
Okay, so... That's 700. And then probably tributing over... Is there realistically anything I can do about it? Because, like... Yeah, no. Because if I... You know, I most likely have the Judgment set. So, yeah. He's yours.
Okay. This was not something that I expected to happen online.
You have two.
I'm
Yeah.
going to battle phase. I'm gonna attack your 7-colored fish.
This is where it gets interesting. I lose my fish, and then main 2, you... There's no way you don't have your own summon skull. Yeah, honestly, I think I have to do this. I'll flip a Mirror Force here.
Okay. Mirror Force and Summon Skull dies.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we go to main phase 2. I set and pass.
Okay, now please give me something good. Oh, pain.
This is scary.
This is. I really don't know what's. That's gonna be the Magician of Faith, which at this point can get anything. Which. Oh yeah, honestly. Obviously, it could be a bait and you said something else. I feel like your targets are way too good, so I'm just gonna YOLO it actually. We Tribute to the Doomed. And as cost, we pitch Summon Skull targeting this. Expecting magic. Thank God. Oh. Yeah, Maleface.
Oh, I'm stupid. I wasn't paying attention. I was supposed to use this thing.
If you have your back row, you can, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Because that's fine.
I was just like, fuck, I can't fucking believe he got Tribute to the Doom to. If only I had, wait, I'm gonna set this real quick. How did I move this to face down? Set there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pitch, I need to decide this real quick, because this is kind of tough too. I'm gonna pitch Summon Skull.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna fire off this 7 tools,
Yep.
targeting the Gemmer.
Yep.
Pay 1,000. So all of that resolves, and thankfully, we called it correct. 1,800 though.
Yep.
And I'm so sad I can't kill you, because like literally anything can come up now and just destroy me. But yeah, back to you.
No, not quite. Right. Gonna set one card. I'm gonna set another card.
Oh.
I'm still playing around it, okay? I'm still playing around it.
Man.
Now it comes down to my next draw. If this thing dies. If this thing dies to a normal attack, it'll come down to that.
There is no way. Like, at this point, I can't play around it being the third Moth or Mask of Darkness. So yeah, we just go battle phase and we attempt to swing at this. I think that's okay.
Execution power.
Yeah, then we go main 2 and we pass it back.
Okay, so I summon this and use all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if I had the life points, I would use that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I had
That's
in hand
it.
was this, but yeah, because you said it in defense, I felt like it was proper
So,
actually.
I had this since the beginning of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
That's
what a
GG.
game. Oh.
That was rough, man. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, let's go game 2.
Yeah.
Yep, that is that. And let's go game 2.
We're going first again. Just like every time. I just love going first. It's so fun. I'm just gonna come out swinging. I'm gonna play 7 colored fish. I'm gonna pass.
Okay, well. No. Well, I think I'm gonna normal Dark Elf. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
And I think I'll pay 1,000 to swing over the fish.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then we go.
I love video games.
And then I think, do I? Yeah, sure. We'll set and do I wanna? No, I don't want to lose the heavy storm. We just set one.
Can I-
pass.
Can I draw a good? Oh, I didn't draw your card. Can you believe it?
I can.
Oh, I thought the game just fucking froze again.
Oh, that's scary. Dueling book, please.
It's gonna set one pass. Set two
Okay.
pass, sorry.
And from my deck, I draw the best card. Oh my god, that is not what I wanted. Awesome. Well, the question is, what is that card you set? It's a Sanguinary Witch. And if I attack it,
If only.
watch the punish. You get summon. I'm basically paying 1,000 to do it, though. But yeah, I think it's still the right thing to do. I'll swing over this.
Yes.
Pay 1,000. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish there was a mulligan in this game.
Yeah. I mean, just draw better. It's not that hard.
Yeah, true. Just top deck Dark Elf every turn.
Let's.
Fuck.
I mean, I think that's a pretty good strategy, personally.
Yeah, I think that's fair, right? Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, we'll just set a couple of cards and pass it back to you.
I'm gonna play
Not
this.
setting. Oh, well, I think I'll elect to Magic Jammer. And another question is, I don't want to pitch any of my cards. Okay, this is gonna be. Yeah, no. I think I'm pitching this Heavy Storm.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah. That's a Magician of Faith, anyhow. Fuck, I straight up don't have plays here, dude.
That's kind of the problem here. It's like this format feels really like swingy, because there's so much interaction once your opponent like gets semi set up. It's so hard to like break through.
I'm gonna play Change of Heart.
I don't like that. I don't like.
Actually, I'm gonna target this thing.
Oh, I like that even less.
If that's a Witch or a Sangam, by the way, you will get to activate it.
Yeah, I know those activate in the grave.
Because I'm assuming that it's a Magician of Faith, I'm doing this.
Oh, I hate it, but no. Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, no, it's yours. Luckily, it's not Moth, but you know.
Flip summon, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Fuck that. I get nothing for that anyway.
Yeah.
And then
I would have liked my Magic Jammer back.
I'm just gonna swing that.
Yep, sure.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I'm gonna take 1,200. You're not gonna do anything for that?
Nothing. It's gone, and you take 11.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do this. Cause fuck.
That sucks. But you're not gonna have cards in your hand though.
It's either I do this or I sit on fuck all.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah.
And now the best card I'm going to.
Like, there's an argument to be made that I should just sit on the Tribute to the Doomed, but then you can just keep chipping away with Dark Elf.
Yeah, because it's like a net game for me of 1,000.
Yeah.
Well, this is lovely. Yeah, no, I think. Yeah. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll set a card in the back row and pass it back to you.
I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move. I'm gonna play Dark Elf.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move. I'm gonna attack with the Dark Elf, and you're gonna activate Mirror Force.
I'm gonna activate Mirror Force.
Yep, baby.
This is... We are gaming! And now, from my deck, the best card. But why, man?
I've asked that multiple times this game now. Like, I just want to set a card and stabilize. But I cannot. Because no matter what I said, you get run over by a 7-colored fish.
Yeah,
And if it's not a 7-colored fish, it's gonna be a fucking tribute to the doomed.
set a card in the back row and pass the turn, baby. This is Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm gonna set a card and I'm gonna pass.
We are playing the video. I'm so pissed.
If you summon any creature, I am very mad.
Oh, I wish if only there were monsters in my deck.
If only there were monsters in my deck. I've drawn a whole whopping 3.
Man. You know, good luck, go ahead.
I'll pass it over to you.
This is exhilarating. Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen.
Is that a Jirai Gumo?
Ladies and gentlemen. Do I? Honestly? Yeah, you know, screw this. Heavy Storm. I fucking hate you.
I love it, baby.
Well, 7-color fish.
I'm gonna
Dude,
fucking hate this.
Why? Why do bad things happen to good people?
Okay, I've been getting shafted this whole time too.
Okay, and now I special summon Photon Trasher from my hand since I have no other monsters. Go ahead, dude.
I set 1 card and I pass.
Change of heart.
GG, go next.
Is it a moth?
What the fuck is it?
Is it a moth?
No, it's something even better, arguably.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you know, I guess I'll take a Mirror Force.
Wow, really?
And, you know, kind of funny that I haven't tributed, or, sorry, normal summoned this game. I think I might tribute for this Summon Skull in my hand.
Like, I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to do anything in this kind of situation.
I mean, it's like,
so annoying.
But hey, you still have 350 life points left, so you could draw anything, you know? Because all of it definitely deals with Summon Skull.
Why is this thing not allowing me to control all or control my fucking life total? Why is it moving to the chat window?
That's a good question, but what I will... should I? No. Yeah, I mean, good luck. I don't know what the hell you can draw here that does anything, but, you know...
I don't know, man.
I feel so bad, like, holy
Like, you top
shit.
deck Dark Elf turn 1. I'm like, yeah, this is fine. I'm not gonna play Stim Pack it, because odds of him actually, like, getting anything here is fine. I should have probably just used the Stim Pack and then be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, then he gets to swing with, and then he gets to sack it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Oh.
All right, let's check. Top 4. Oh, funny.
I feel so bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Top 5, sorry. Fucking hell.
So I drew in my first, what's that? 11 cards, I drew my all 3 Heavy Storms. Pretty funny. I feel so bad for you, dude. Like, the RNG in these episodes is so...
If it was Magician of Faith instead of Mask of Darkness,
yeah,
it would have been fine. But it's fucking Mask of Darkness. When I have 1 trap. Total. 2 traps, sorry. Fucking... That's so unfortunate.
I was playing a single magical hat in my first main deck, and I had 2 more magical hats in my side deck. I also had 3 mass sorcerers and 3 of the 500 equip. And the idea is, hey, Sangana Witch actually might want to swing a lot of the time to just check what's set, And Mass Sorcerer has 1400 defense, which means if you swing into it with Sengan or Witch, you actually take battle damage, which triggers Mass Sorcerer, which allows me to draw a card, which sort of alleviates the breakiness of the equip, but in the end I figured it's still like too inconsistent to play. I just was like, I mean, Sengan and Witch can both surge like both Mass Sorcerer and Magical Hats, but it was more of like a Magical Fairyland play. So I figured, yeah, if it comes up, then that's cool, I guess. But I ended up siding out of the White Magical Hat for an extra 7-color fish, I think. And then I sided out of a single Jirai Gumo. You were like, right, I was playing 3 for a third Tools of the Bandit, because like
Traps.
These traps they're fucking insane. Like,
Yeah.
way too.
I just played like straight up beatdown. I had
Yes.
2 copies of Sangan, 3 copies of Witch, 2 copies of Magician of Fate, 2 copies of Mask of Darkness, of which I added 1 copy in the second game. Then I had 2 of Magic Jammer, 2 of Spaven Tools, 3 of Mirror Force, 3 of Solemn Judgment. And then
Same.
I had beaters.
You were playing Rukishin. We're playing 3.
I was playing 3 in the first game, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Were you playing
played-
Jirai Guma at all?
I did not, because the fact that I figured, if I overextend with Jirai Gumo, I'm just going to get burnt the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because if you look at all the burn cards in this set, they're actually fairly good against these cards. Like, if you abuse Solemn Judgment, Jirai Gumo, and Dark Elf, you're going to die.
Yeah,
And that's I actually thought of sliding into that.
That's why I like wanted to side out of one Jirai Guma, because it's still like, it's good because you can just sit there and nothing can hit you. But I never want to swing with it, because like I want to have life points to pay for 7 Tools the Bandit. And I mean, Solemn Judgment, obviously, but I would much rather just pay the consistent 1,000 for Dark Elf. So it was like,
Yeah.
I was thinking of siding out of another Jirai Gumo for a 3rd copy of Mask of Darkness. I was also playing 2 Moth to Darkness in my main, and then I was playing a 3rd copy of each in the side. And I was thinking of maybe siding into one more Mask of Darkness, but I ended up not doing it.
Yeah, I figured Mask of Darkness would be more helpful for me overall than Essentials of the Bandit, because the fact that Solemn and Mirror Force are in multiple copies would be more relevant. But because I never managed to stabilize in a way where it could be relevant, I just got kind of steamrolled in this game.
Yeah, that was what was like my idea in like siding the 7 Tools over the Mask of Darkness, because like we were like the change of hearting like set stuff, and also like just shooting Tribute to the Dooms, because you don't want to give your opponents the flips, made it that I wanted just to consistently have maybe the 3rd copy, and I figured it was okay to do that, and I guess it ended up not mattering here since I drew a Mask of Darkness anyway.
Fuck yeah. The turn 1, I'm gonna top deck Dark Elf here. Damn! I mean, again, there's an argument to be made that I should have just played Stim Pack on turn 1, because the fact that nothing can get over 7 colored fish with Stim Pack for like 2 turns, other than Jirai Gumo after the 2nd turn. But at the same time, I was like, I don't need to equip this yet, because I doubt that he's just going to be able to swing over this without hefty costs. And after that, odds are I should be able to stabilize. But that did not happen.
My starting hand was Change of Heart, Heavy Storm, Magic Jammer, Mirror Force, and Darkness. And then Elf was the first draw.
Yeah, okay. That's not fun. That's a lot.
This is why we go
my
second,
God.
baby. That one extra card.
Fucking hell.
Salvaging my hand. I was like,
If only.
you can see it from the cam which I'm recording, like the start of the game. Like I see my hand, I'm just like, bro, this is so ass. Then we go.
I mean,
it isn't it the worst, but it's like, I don't really want to see Mask of Darkness in my opening hand, because it's like, okay, if I want to get some value out of, maybe I just shoot a Mirror Force into 1 7th color fish, which it's not bad.
it's worth, I think.
Yeah, it's like, it's fine, but as we established, I'm greedy. I want more value, so.
Yeah. I mean, the way that it should have probably gone if you didn't get the Dark Elf would have been that on turn 3, I attack into the Mask of Darkness, you Mirror Force my 7-color fish, and then you flip the Mask of Darkness to add the Mirror Force back, of course.
Yeah.
And then after that, you have the option of maybe tributing the Mask of Darkness. If not tributing, you can just summon something else on the side.
Yeah.
And then I have to contend with 2 different targets to deal with.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good line. Yeah, but just like my draws were just nutty.
It's been this way the whole time. God damn it!
I was afraid because it's like there's
Oops.
no Monster Reborn that I can just Segi just draw one of those and win that way. Like I was like, what will I do?
God damn.
But Dark Elf prevails. But hey, it's not like we're gonna be playing a Seki format next time because. You know, it's not like we will not have any cards in our hands. It will only be top decking stuff.
Rock, paper, scissors. I mean, I just did that. So.
Oh yeah, that
Self-inflicted.
That's true. But like, hey, you've been winning the rock paper scissors, so chances of getting to go first and just ripping my whole hand, they're there.
Exactly. I'll do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll manage.
I'm not looking forward to it. But hey, this was fun, right, Jeex?
Yeah. The first game was fun. The second game was just like all the other second games.
That's actually true. It's like always been like first the back and forth, and then I just get some super sacky shit and just like I just only draw the best cards in my deck. You know, I think that's a pretty good strategy, in my opinion.
That's something that I can't do.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not very good at that.
Yeah, you just draw better, man. It's not that hard. But I guess that was that. Hey, thank you for watching this awesome episode of Metal Raiders, and we will see you next. Oh yeah, about next time. In addition to Spell Ruler, we're implementing tournament packs. I don't think I've talked about this before. We implemented tournament packs in a way like whenever a tournament pack comes out, the next set that comes out, we can then just play the tournament pack cards with that set. So meaning next time we're probably going to be seeing Mechanical Chaser, because that is like the one card in tournament pack 1. That is actually good. But yeah, that's what we're doing next time.
Yeah.
Anything
good.
Anything you still wanna see, or are we just ending it here?
I don't know, man. I'm salty as
I think that's honestly fair. So, hey, GG said you have a chance to redeem yourself once again next time.
I'm 0-6.
You know, it's three matches, just straight 2-0s. It's very doable.
It's.
More we go, the more it gets skill and intensive, and I can just sack with any power cards and just win with those single power cards, and it's gonna get rougher for me.
That's true. Hopefully that's true, at least.
Hopefully it's actually, you know what? How about we just have a single good card in every set, and we just play around those? I think that's personally that's a great way to go.
Raigeki in every set.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a great way to go about it. But yeah, I will see you hopefully next time. This was Metal Raiders, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.